Hi everyone, it's Jayda here, host of Timely Talks on Legacy Radio. Today I'm here with author and business entrepreneur Dwayne Miller. Hi everyone, welcome back to our Black History Month podcast. I'm Jayda and today I'd like to introduce you to Dwayne Miller, an entrepreneur, book publisher and ambassador for LegacyYouthZone. Welcome Dwayne, you're on Instagram Live, so say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone, how you doing? You alright? Thanks for having me, I appreciate it. Always love being at Legacy, so yeah, big love. Shout out everyone.
We wanted to bring you in today to firstly say thank you for being an ambassador, and also thanks for bringing in the face mask for members during lockdown. Could you tell us how that came about and why you wanted to help in this way?
It's interesting because I learned about Legacy and the plans here for the youth zone quite early on, before the place was even built. So me and my business partner, Nicholas Dex, he's also an ambassador here on Legacy. We actually met one of the colleagues that was orchestrating the introduction to Legacy in the area, David Mellis, and we met him at the Sussex Innovation Hub in Croydon, and he was just really enthusiastic about what the project was, what the plans are, how he wanted to build something great in Croydon for the youth. And because myself and Nicholas had been so involved in like youth organized projects, events especially, we just thought this is great because as I was saying to the guys earlier, the things that were here facilities wise before when we were growing up were really bad, and then we made the most of it. It was good, but for the most part it could have been better. So he showed us the plans, took us to some other sites, and we was like, wow, this is amazing. If this was in Croydon, this would like be life changing for a lot of you guys that's coming up now. So yeah, that's pretty much how we met. And then we just kept keeping in touch and kept in touch with the team. And we just always displayed our interest in making sure that we were connected to the young people always, because we were once you, and we knew what it felt like, and we knew what kind of help we would have wanted to have coming up. So anywhere we can help, that was basically our mindset, and still our mindset, and will always be our mindset going forward as well. So yeah, definitely that was the real interest for us, being the people that we needed when we were younger now, if that makes sense. So that was pretty much the reasons. Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit more about your charity CMBA and everything it stands for?
Yeah, so basically the CMBA Foundation is in legacy and memory of one of my good friends, Carl M. Beatson, known as Charms. And, he was a great influential figure in the area growing up. And, till this day, he's still remembered, recognized, and celebrated in a positive way. And we just really wanted to turn that into something constructive, because there's so many organizations out there, but I feel like we need some more that has our community background and our understanding, and are able to basically translate our culture to a charity structure and a social enterprise structure. So for us, it isn't just so much about doing charity work, it's also about being relatable as well, because a lot of charities out there, they do great work, but not all of them are relatable. They don't understand the culture, the background, and the environments of what we are trying to do and what we want to create. We want to create something that's more in touch with our community, able to obviously share and give back arts, media, culture, and music. But more than anything else, we want to be able to make sure that it's understood from a cultural perspective, because there's so many organizations charity-wise that I am aware of, but they don't outreach because, one, they don't know where the young people like yourselves are. They don't know how to get a hold of you. They don't know how to communicate to you, even if they could reach you. So we just want to be able to help bridge that gap between bigger organizations and brands, and connect them to you guys. Because also a big part of what we do is, for example, when we worked with Gap during the lockdown, is to bring brands to young people in a more seamless way, because I feel like with brands, usually they want to help, they want to do things, because they're such big organizations, they don't know who to reach out to and who to speak to. And when we were growing up, I'm sure some of the guys will support me on this, that we had stuff like work experience, and you could go to a place called Connections and you could get put in a company just like that, and you'd be having a job and you'd be on work experience. But today it's very different, and it's bit more complicated to get like 6 weeks work experience, or during the holidays. So we want to be able to help those type of things, and keep that relationship going between organization and youth culture. So that's what we want to do with CMBA.
We've seen recently that your new book, Black Enterprise, has been released through Siege Books.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about the book and why you chose the entrepreneurs mentioned?
It's funny because you got a photo of Stormzy on the wall. I always tell this story. It's one of my favorites. I had actually entered Stormzy's company's Murky Books book prize. That's how I initially wanted to release the book. And, I was confident I was going to win. I was like, yeah, I'm going to win. And, I was a finalist, but I didn't win. So, I had to figure out a way to get the book out there. And I approached quite a few other publishers, but they had so many different roadblocks and reasons why this, that, and the other. They weren't sure, they didn't get it. But I was really determined to release the book, because after I saw the reaction of everyone, like when I was a finalist for the Murky Book Prize, I saw that there was a potential for it. People were keen to know about history. They wanted to learn about the people I kind of like showcased a little bit on my social media. So I decided to, the only way I could do it was basically make my own publishing company. And that's just a testament of how I am as a person, and what I would tell most young people, you shouldn't give up if you can't get something done with the help of others. Keep going, keep finding ways. I had to learn how to become a publisher. I never had no publishing experience. I'd never worked with a publisher. I didn't know what it took. Same when I was developing a book. Never written a book before. I written like blogs and or written pieces, but never a book. And I had to basically go away and learn the fundamentals of how to actually put together a publisher, set it up, and then also put together a book. So it was more the fact that I didn't win, but I saw the reaction of people that, oh my God, they want the information, that really motivated me. So actually, it wasn't even just down to myself. It had nothing to do with me, really. It's the motivation of everyone saying, no, we want a book, we want to see how, we want to learn history. So that's what really kind of pushed me on to actually set up a publisher, and then also get the book out as well. And from that, actually, it's been great, because now I'm actually signing quite a few people to write there and publish their own books. And I'm doing an event about that next week, actually, with several of the people. So it's actually exciting for me, because I want to be able to tell more black stories, ethnic minority stories, like stories that are neglected. And, I want to tell positive stories, because I feel like the reason behind why I did the book in the first place is because when I was putting the book, when the idea came to me, I was watching the news a lot at the time. And there was a lot of negativity on the media about young people of ethnic minorities in our community, like crime, violence, street culture, and it was very negative on the news. I didn't like it, because I know that although those things exist and they're real, we also have another side to our community that doesn't get nowhere near as much media coverage or like impact. So I was thinking, if they won't do it, someone has to do it, and I'll give it a go. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's very important that when we have ideas, we just give it a go. And that's something that I would suggest that all young people keep with them. If you have an idea, just give it a go. You never know where it might take you.
Great advice. It's great to see that you have an exhibition at Box Park promoting your book that's featuring a wide variety of black success stories and other black entrepreneurs, past and present. If you had the opportunity, what would you like to say to any of the people listed?
On the exhibition, on the people of the exhibition that's there now.
Yeah.
I would say to all of them, thank you first of all, because they did if once you read their stories, you would discover that almost 99% of them had to struggle. They had to really go through some dark things and some difficult challenges to actually make their reality a reality. Like they had to, some of those people on the exhibition panels are ex-slaves or people born into slavery, or they had to emerge from really difficult upbringings to actually make things happen. And that was also another massive reason why I needed to complete the book. I wanted to kind of showcase that, life is hard today, but it's nowhere near as hard as some of the people that came before us. Some people were born into slavery. Some people were ex-slaves that had to run away from slavery to go start a business. So imagine today if you had to run away from like slavery to go be who you are. That's a way different experience. Some people in previous generations, they weren't even allowed to set up a business. So, their stories of perseverance and victory is really what I want to talk about. And I wanted to tell them thank you. I'd also say that, I wanted to be like, look how far we come as well. That's another thing I'll say to them. Like, look how far we've come. Your sacrifices weren't for nothing. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Who or what inspired you to start writing?
You know what? As I mentioned, I went to a school down the road, Selhurst School, right? Selhurst Boys School. It was a troubled environment, if I can put it to you like that. Very dangerous, very like dark, like we was basically labeled like no hope, like we wouldn't have any hope in life, sort of thing, and that was actually a motivation for me actually, because you know the teachers kind of just wrote us off, like, more or less. And it's not their fault, it's just the environment that we're in. They tried their best and they did do a lot of great work, a lot of them. So I can't say it was like, yeah, the typical story where they're like, yeah, the teachers didn't hate, they hated us, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that. They wanted us to succeed as well. But it was a difficult environment because of just where it was at the time. But I was always into education and sports. I was hand in hand in both. I like business, I like education, and I like sports. So going to school in a tougher environment, it was kind of difficult to showcase that you really wanted to be academic as well. So I had to balance both worlds. But I think when I went to university, I managed to somehow got to university. Don't know how, some luck or chance, but I made it to university. And when I was there, I started studying a bit more history, because in school you don't really learn like black history. We just learn like white history and slavery. The only black history we learn is slavery, right? So I wasn't really interested in the history in school, but when I got to university, I started learning about some black legends and like some scholars like Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X. And what I discovered was, like, being a scholar or being interested in academics didn't, because in our environment, like black community where I was growing up, being smart, we used to call it being a neek. I don't know if you guys still use them terminologies there.
Yeah.
But like listening to people like Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and learning about their stories, what they went through, like, they weren't neeks, but they were smart. They were academics, right? They were scholars. They learned and studied, and they were more than like academic or a scholar. They were larger than life, and they were the type of people that sometimes they had to carry a gun, but they didn't have to carry a gun because they wanted to kill people. They were carrying a gun because they had to protect themselves because of the environments they was in. And I learned that basically, like, to be smart isn't just one-dimensional thing. And when I discovered that, it made me really keen on learning about history and like stories about people like that. And I became more comfortable wanting to like write and being a scholar. I didn't really see writing as something that real clever people do. So yeah, I think Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, people like that, learning about them made me inspired to wanna give like writing and being a scholar a go, if that makes sense.
What book or books are you currently reading?
I'm reading a couple books. I'm reading the book by the founder of McDonald's. Real great story. Like, he started entrepreneurship and business quite late, and he managed to turn like 50 something years old, and he managed to really basically help McDonald's emerge as one of the powerful, if not the most powerful brands in the world. His story is great. There's a film on it called The Founder on Amazon Prime if you want to watch. Good. I'm also reading a book, and I read it over and over. It's by one of the people in the exhibition actually, Reginald Lewis, and his book is called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? Really interesting book, right? Because like, he's a black guy. He was really successful in the white corporate space, but he was stuck to his roots. He never really he didn't so-called sell out, if you want to use terminologies like that. He was very much pro-black without being anti-white, and I think that's the sort of type of direction I want to take with my career. I'm definitely pro-black, but not to the state of anti-white. That's not what we're promoting. So I really enjoy reading his book because I can feel a lot of similarities in his life to mine. I mean, I didn't go to Harvard, but I can feel some other similarities going on there. But and then the last one is actually a book. I'm previewing a book by one of the founders. Sorry, by another person in my book. So I'm fortunate enough to have got the deal to actually release his book in the UK and emerging markets. And his name is Denim Jolly. His autobiography, I actually got a chance to. I'm having a chance to publish it, and that was really a massive moment for me. So those are the 3 books I'm reading at the moment.
You have another book entitled Generational Wealth.
Yeah.
What do you want to pass on to help the next generation?
I think first and foremost is information. I think that's really why I helped set up the publishing, and I want to do books. I want to first pass on information. I think once you can share information, you can really put a long list of people and people that I might never meet into position to learn about things that I've learned. So information and material to study, that's the number one thing. I think also it's also to do with infrastructure. So I speak a lot about stuff like infrastructure. Infrastructure is legacies of infrastructure. You will be here, you'll be here today, but hopefully 10, 15, 20 years time, people that yourself will come through as well, and be able to use the facilities and have great memories and develop skills and become world beaters by coming here. So I want to continue to help create infrastructure and environments that allows people to develop and learn and become better. And I think the last thing is pride and being able to research people and find pride, find joy in seeing that there's black people that I can emulate or even surpass in the future if I just work hard, I stick to my goals and aim high. So hopefully people seeing stories that I'll eventually put out, I've already put out, they locate those and be like, okay, cool. If that guy can do it, I can do it. Because when I first read these stories, the first thing I thought is I can do this, and it wasn't to do with because I was big headed or I don't know, obnoxious. It was more about the fact that I just saw relatableness, someone relatable, someone black, someone from a poor background, someone that I feel if I kept my head down, I could do that too. And so I think the last thing is definitely pride, if that makes sense.
On top of running a charity and writing books, you've been on TEDx. Could you tell us a bit more about your discussion that you had?
Oh, wow. That TEDx, right? So, halfway through it, I forgot my lines. It's crazy. Everyone had nailed it. I feel like I was second to last or something like that, right? So, I had lots of pressure on. And, I was also one of the older people there. Half the people were I think I was 20, I don't remember, 23 at the time. Maybe 24, maybe. 23, yeah. 23, 24. And there was 20-year-olds, 19, and they went before me and they were acing it, they were killing it, right? And basically we had training, so you had to train for weeks before you do a TEDx. You have to train. So everyone had the chance to train. I trained too. We all trained together more or less. And training, it was great. I killed it. And then I see everyone ace theirs, because you can memorize other people's lines too, because you've seen it so many times. So I pretty much knew they ace theirs. So I'm in the middle of the stage now. Bear in mind, I'm used to stages. I've done loads of speaking engagements before that. But the light was just on me. I was hot. I was confused. I was just wearing this hat. It was just feeling like a crazy day right now. And so I had to freestyle some of it. So if you watch it, you probably wouldn't even realize. But my point is that I'm bringing that up is that I could have just been I can't do this. I gotta come off stage. I need to go. I need to I can't. Do you get what I mean? I could have quit, but there's no quitting in me. So I think the reason why I enjoyed the TEDx was that more than anything else, because it showed me that even when I'm in a tight situation, I won't quit. I'll keep going, and even to the point where it doesn't even look like I was even phased. I wanted to do the TEDx because I was in this phase at the time trying to put theories together, and my theory I put together for the TEDx was the VAA, visualize, analyze, and actualize. Because I had seen some guys say they'd done theories and you can get a theory registered as an official theory. So I thought, let me just, if I'm gonna ever get a theory, this is how I want to launch it on the TEDx, right? So don't know why I was thinking like that at the time, but it ended up being good because I realized that's more or less the one of the approach plays to life. You have to visualize what you want to do. So you have to think about it in your head, understand it in an imaginary way, and like, okay, cool, lock it there. Then the next step is you have to analyze it. So you're gonna have to go do some research. You have to go do some studying. Actually, you have to try and find tangible ways to figure out how you can do this thing, whatever it is. And then finally, actualize. You're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to actually do the work that you visualized, analyzed, and now you have to execute that. And I feel like nothing's impossible. I watched some great documentaries on Netflix. One of them being with how they invented planes, and like great story. These guys didn't know how to. They made a plane. They started making planes in their shed. So big planes you see today flying thousands of miles above us and everything. They started making it in their shed. That's the first places that people were making planes. It didn't start as a big plane already made and they were breezing it in the air or anything like that. It started as little small devices in a shed. And my point about that is visualizing things. Even can start in your shed. It can start wherever you are. It can start in this room. It can start anywhere. At home, with your friends. It doesn't matter how ludicrous or big it is. If you can visualize it, that means you can figure it out and analyze it. And then lastly, you can actualize it. And it might not happen overnight. It might take 5, 6, 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime. But as long as you know and you keep working in progress, things can happen. So that was my real reason for doing my TEDx.
We're really impressed with everything you do, and it's good to
Thank
be
you.
involved in so many different areas. What would you say you'd want people to remember you for?
Great question. That's probably one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked, Yeah, a good question. Yeah, amazing question. I think I just want to be remembered as someone that helped Black people to find pride. I know I said it earlier, but like I feel like a lot of our community, we're actually like exciting people, proud people, but it's almost like in the face of other races or the grand scheme of life, ethnic minorities don't tend to get the same like we don't showboat ourselves in a proud way and like more in a way where it's like this is us and and I think being able to find pride and being able to be able to go anywhere in the world and anyone respect you as a person, because it doesn't matter what your skin color is. That's would be like I want to help that. I want to also be remembered as someone that really helped to push the agenda of Black ownership and ethnic minorities owning things and being able to have a say so in the world, because I feel like as a community, like we see it now. We look at football. Football clubs are getting bought out, and when you have money and you have the access and resources to own things, you have control. And when you don't, you don't. And I think I want to be able to help push that narrative and that legacy aspect where people say and think of, oh yeah, you know what, he helped to push Black people and ethnic minorities to think about like ownership in whatever way possible. Even if it's a small way or a big way, we can do it, and let's go for it.
Thank you very much for coming today, Dwayne. It was
Appreciate
a pleasure
it,
to
Jayda.
have you.
No worries, thank you.
You
You're a
brought
great
some
interview.
sign- Thank you. You brought some signed copies of your book, Black Enterprise to Legacy for members, and they're
Yeah.
looking forward to meeting you downstairs.
Amazing.
We hope you enjoyed your time and look forward to seeing you again soon.
Awesome, I can't wait. Thank you.